everybody. Welcome to the Edge Radio Show. Scott Harries and the Coach.
Welcome to the Edge Radio Show.
Hello, Scott.
Hey, Coach. How are you? You hear? You can hear me fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can hear you wonderful.
Well, we want to welcome everybody to the Edge Radio Show, coming to you live from the KHTS studios in downtown Newhall, where it's about 115, it feels like. It's going to be hot here today, and so we want to welcome you to the show. The Edge Radio Show comes to you live every Friday from 11 to 1. Coach Ron Tunick and I try to have interesting guests on to talk about ways you can gain an edge in life and be better at whatever it is you want to be better at. And, you know, one of those things that we believe is that if you want to be better, you got to work at it. Right, Coach?
That's right. And we want to be interesting. We're going to really work hard today to be interesting, informative, and entertaining. We're going to talk about something that's very, very special to you and I, Scott.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping to most of our listeners, and I know the owners of the station, and that's the flag, the American flag. So I thought I'd give a little introduction before our guest comes on.
Sure.
Our guest is was a captain in the United States Navy. In fact, he was the commander of Naval Base Port Hueneme, and I got a personal tour a couple of times. And when you look at the flag of the United States, when you and I were growing up, that's what helped us understand what patriotism was all about.
Absolutely.
So let me give you a little background, ladies and gentlemen. Patty may not even know this.
What's up, Coach?
I can't. Yeah, Patty, do you know about who wrote the Star-Spangled Banner?
No, I do not.
Francis Scott Keys.
It's been a while since my history class.
So he was a 35-year-old lawyer. He wrote it on September 14th, 1814.
Oh, wow.
And he happened to be on a British ship 4 miles off the coast. I think he was off the coast of Maui. What coast was he on? I don't know.
He was off the East Coast, right off of, right where they were having
South Carolina?
Virginia, right off of Virginia, right.
Are you sure it was Virginia?
I thought it was Virginia. Isn't that where?
It was Fort McHenry.
It was
Fort,
right in that area, right.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Patty, get our staff on this. Get our crack staff on this.
Okay, I'm working on it, Coach.
I'm ready on Google, sir.
The British ships were firing, Patty. They were firing cannon balls at this Fort McHenry. They were going to take the fort over. And Francis Scott Key was on one of the British ships. And people ask, why was he on a British ship writing the Star-Spangled Banner? Well, first of all, he wrote a number of little books and some poems. And he was on the ship trying to negotiate the release of an American citizen. That's why he was on the ship. So he was inspired, Patty, by this large U.S. flag. It had 15 stars and 15 stripes, and he wrote, and it was called the Star-Spangled Banner. And that's how the poem was set to the tune of a popular British song written by John Stafford Smith for Men's Social Club in London.
So that's how Fort McHenry is just, there's a national monument and historic site there in Baltimore, Maryland. So I guess it's just right there on the the coast there, Baltimore. Okay.
Yeah.
And so they were just out.
So the Star-Spangled Banner was recognized for official use by the United States Navy in 1889, Scott, and by U.S. President Woodrow Wilson in 1916. And it was made the national anthem by a congressional resolution on March 3rd, 1931.
Okay.
What do you think of all this?
That's great. So it's been around for a good long time. All right. So
now here's a trivia question for you. Okay, if you get this right, you can't look it up. Okay, so you promise you're not going to look it up?
I promise.
Okay.
Quick,
so
get the computer.
For $100,
okay.
I'm waiting. Don't tell him.
For a free lunch with onion rings.
Okay.
Before 1931, what was the song? What was the official song of the United States?
Oh, that's a good question. America the Beautiful?
That's a great question.
America the Beautiful? No, I don't know.
Was it Yankee Doodle?
Yankee I don't. You know, that's
Okay,
a great question. You stumped me.
Radio show, and these two guys need to listen to this show.
We're dunderheads today.
We are definitely dunderheads today.
Jerry Bustrom, Joyce Bustrom out in Cameo running our fan club. We've got Steve Cry out in Ohio, Columbus, running our fan club. Howard Harris, listening to our show every Friday. He's running our fan club up in the Sacramento area. And who else?
We have
out running San Fernando Valley.
We got to say hi to Teddy, Harvey, Calvin, and Graham and Felicity that are traveling. They're up in Idaho right now. But you know what, Coach? Teddy caught his first fish yesterday. He caught a rainbow trout, and he was so excited he wants me to call Jeremy Wade from River Monsters and let him know that he caught his first fish. And so we have it on video. We have it on video, and it's awesome.
His reaction when he caught the fish? Did he hold it in his hand?
Yeah, he did. He actually held it. He was surprised that he was so surprised when they brought it up with the net into the fish that it was flopping all over. So he just kind of stood there for a second looking at it, and then finally they picked it up and he held on to it. And the look in his eye and the smile was just unbelievable. I'd have given my total net worth to be in that boat with them and his dad and his uncle when they caught it. They were up in Idaho on a river. It was great. But we have Captain Paul on the radio.
Grossgold.
He's on the radio.
Captain, I'm here. Welcome to California. How are you, sir?
I'm good, Coach. How are you doing?
I'm great. Great to hear your voice. Scott Harries is my partner on the show.
Hi, how are you?
Is producing this show.
Hi, Scott.
How are you?
It's going to be about 105 to 106 today, and we're located in Santa Clarita, California. You're back in Virginia today?
Well, actually, we're in South Carolina. It's probably 90 degrees and 90% humidity. Yeah,
Okay, so that's worse than here because the humidity trumps all. That's sure crazy. Oh, great.
Well, let me give our listeners, we got thousands of listeners right here all over the country. Actually, our show's heard all over the country in about 33 states. So the Captain Paul was the commander of Navy Base Port Hueneme. I had the honor and the privilege of getting a personal tour, Scott, of the base. It was quite a life experience. Even though it was about 15 years ago, I can remember everything about. Here's what I remember, Scott. When we walked into the building where the captain was housed and his staff, as soon as we walked in the front door, I'm not kidding you, everybody snapped to attention. It was the most amazing thing I've ever experienced in my life. It was unbelievable. And
people don't do that for you?
Captain.
When you walk in the house? When you walk in the house, that's not how...
anymore.
No, they don't snap to attention?
My little Lexi Lulu snaps to attention.
Okay.
She comes up and anyway.
Okay.
Captain, so honored to have you on the show. We're going to talk about something that Scott's a real patriot. So is Patty. So am I. We're going to talk about patriotism. We're going to talk about the American flag. But let's talk about something that Scott's involved on Facebook, too. We both signed up for We Stand. One person can make a difference. That's why we do the Edge Radio Show. One person in this country can make a difference. You're going to make the difference by bringing patriotism back. We're going to support you. That's why you're on the air today. Talk us about why you built The Stand on Facebook.
What's the official names for everybody? Just give us the official name.
It's called We Stand.
We Stand. All one word.
If you go up on Facebook and just search for We Stand, I think there's actually a couple of sites with the same name, but ours is easy to find. You'll see a big American flag on the homepage there.
Okay.
And it's the reason I started it is, I just wanted a place where people can get away from the partisan bickering and the they this and they that, and just a place that, we have a very simple and positive message is we stand for our flag, and we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and the anthem, and there's a lot of people, as we know, in our country today that don't do that, and it's not about criticizing or condemning anybody. It's just about us saying, just by being part of this site, is just saying we stand. That's it. We stand, and maybe more of us saying that will have an impression on other people.
That's wonderful.
Well, the flag. I was just telling before you came on the air. I don't know if you were listening, but the flag represents so much about the greatness of this country. I was talking about Francis Scott Key. He wrote the Star-Spangled Banner on a British ship. Did you know that, Captain?
I did. He was being held prisoner, and he was let go, I think, later that day or the next day. They didn't want to let him go because I guess he had a little too much intel, but they did let him go afterward.
Yeah, he was on the ship trying to negotiate the release of another American citizen. So he writes the Star-Spangled Banner, and I was telling everybody before he came on the air, on March 3rd, 1931, it was signed. It was our national anthem signed in by President Herbert Hoover. But the flag, for me, represents the millions of people that literally have given their lives, have given everything to that sacred flag. And I just think, and to honor you, to have you on the show today and building this Facebook page, which is rapidly growing. You started literally, a week ago with 0? What are you today?
Pretty much, yeah. We're closing in on 1,300, and hoping it catches on more. There's people that are inviting people that are inviting people, so I don't even know who most of these people are. Well,
they're patriots. That's who they are.
Of course they are, and we just opened it up for posting. For the first week, I just wanted to have the site out there. I didn't, again, get people used to the idea. This isn't a place to political cartoons and bash people of this or that political persuasion. And I think we finally did that. And so it's open for posting. I had a couple that were probably crossed the line a little bit, and I had to make a correction. But for the most part, people are catching on and doing the right thing.
That's awesome. And can this site? You don't have a minimum
this is Fox
of
News
5,000.
Radio in New York.
You can get 100 or 500,000 people to get on this group site. Am I correct on that?
As far as I know, I don't know of any limit. I did not see any limits on there.
Well, we'll talk about the site often. So share with our audience your life story. Now, did you graduate from Annapolis? I don't think I ever asked you that.
No, I did not. I graduated from City University of New York, and then went to Aviation Officer Candidate School in Pensacola, Florida. Got my commission there. Went to flight school and flew the E-2 Hawkeye aircraft as a naval flight officer. So I spent a lot of time on aircraft carriers, did time in Washington. So, did the whole thing and had a great career. I don't have any regrets about my military career. Spent 26 years doing that.
That's amazing.
We'd do it again.
That's
amazing.
Scott's
a pilot.
Yeah,
Captain Paul. Scott's a pilot.
Yeah, I'm a pilot, but I fly a Bonanza 836 and other little things. But I've never flown an A2 Hawkeye. Well, I'd like to.
A good friend of mine has a Bonanza, and actually a picture of his plane is on the. He posted.
Oh, did he?
A picture of a flag that's hanging next to his airplane, and you can see that it's on the site.
Okay. I'll have to post one. As well.
Sure. Please do.
That's great. So, when did you actually get your flight commission, and did you ever?
In 1980. finished flight school again as a naval flight officer,
right.
And went right to the fleet. My first couple of deployments were on the USS America, which is a ship no longer in commission. In fact, most of the ships I were on are no longer in commission, but a few of them are. The USS Roosevelt is still out there,
right.
And made 6 extended deployments and a whole lot of shorter ones. So I loved what I did at sea and the camaraderie we had out there. And, since you asked, real quick, nobody ever asked me while we were out there. And the aircraft carrier is one of the most inherently dangerous places on Earth.
It is.
Nobody asks who I voted for in the last election, what my political party is. It's all about teamwork and what we're out there to do. And that's what I'm trying to carry over to this site. We shouldn't care that much about, what our party membership is. We're all Americans. We can stand for our flag, and that's really why I did this.
So the concept of what you're doing here is to say, first and foremost, which I really believe this to the depth of my heart, is that we are Americans first, and then from that
exactly.
we can break off, and we can lean one way or another in one political party or another. But when times get tough, and when things are we're under the gun or things aren't going right in our country, the history has always shown that we have been able to pull together and put our differences aside and fight for this great country and for all that it means. And what I think that, I never fought in war, and I never had to serve in the military. I'm one of those weird ducks born in 1959 where we never even had to register for the draft. They got rid of it, and then they just as I was getting ready to turn 18, and then they brought it back within about 4 years after. So my brother, my older brother had to register and almost went to Vietnam, and then my little brother registered, but I never had to. I almost went to I had a chance to go to the Air Force Academy, and since I was too tall, I wasn't going to fly jets. Then I decided to do something different. But my father fought in World War II in the Japanese theater in 1944 to 46, and then my grandfather fought in World War I in Germany in the cavalry. On horseback, which was really interesting.
Wow.
And and then both my uncles, 2 of my uncles were in Vietnam. And so I've always been a patriot, and I believe that we need to come together in this country and always be Americans first. And so what really breaks my heart right now, and I can understand why you're doing this, and that is that there seems to be such a movement to cancel our history. And try and change our history, and that's something that you just can't change. You can't change what's happened yesterday. If we could do that, there would be everybody would do it, right? We go back and correct all those mistakes, but it's just something that can't happen.
No, I certainly agree with you. And the flag, the picture of the flag that's on the site, the top picture, I took that at the Arizona Memorial in Pearl Harbor. Some people will recognize it.
Right.
And, those guys that are in the Arizona still entombed there, they deserve better.
They do.
So, that's part of why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Right. I agree wholeheartedly. In fact, I've been to that memorial 2 or 3 times, and when I first had the opportunity to go to Hawaii, that was one of the first things I wanted to do. And then later, when I went and was able to take my children on a vacation there, we always made a stop there, just because it meant so much, to our family. One, because my father fought in that theater, but just the sacrifice that was made by so many at that point in time, unbelievable.
Yeah.
The flag was the symbol. The flag was the symbol of freedom. The flag represents the good and the bad of the United States. If you talk to veterans, they'll tell you that they fought for all kinds of reasons, but they fought to represent the flag, and they represent free speech and the freedom of this country, and the fact that you're having a site on Facebook called, what's it called again?
We Stand.
We Stand. We Stand. That's what it's called. We Stand.
You're listening to the Edge Radio.
Yeah.
You're listening to the Edge Radio Show on 98.1 FM, 1220 AM, KHTS Radio, and we have Captain Paul Grossgold, who has a site, We Stand, on Facebook. We invite you to go take a look at that site. It's there's a couple there, but there's one where you see a flagpole and a flag on there, and that's the one you want to join. It's got about 1,300 people on there at this point in time. And we're going to take a quick break and be right back with Coach Ron and with Captain Paul. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Steve Cruz, and my wife and I own the local pub and grill. With 19 70-inch TVs, it's the best place in the valley to catch a game. We have a vast selection of beer, wine, and specialty cocktails to choose from, including our charity ale, where 10% of every pint we sell goes to Carousel Ranch. Our menu features classics with a flavorful twist. Come by for Taco Trivia Tuesdays at 7, Wines Day for bingo and karaoke starting at 8 p.m., and karaoke every Saturday at 9. Local pub and grill, right next to Bevmo on the Old Road. Support local, support community.
Social distancing slows the spread of coronavirus, so we should all stay home to lower the risk for everyone. More info at coronavirus.gov. Let's all do our part, because we're all #AloneTogether. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Your hometown station.
Our news team at KHTS is constantly working to keep you informed. If you want the latest and greatest information on the Santa Clarita Valley, just sign up for the KHTS newsletter. SCV News delivered directly to your email inbox every weekday by 5 p.m. and a special weekend edition on Sundays. All it takes is an email address and you're set. Go to hometownstation.com to register.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
It's Christmas in August at Burger King.
Wait, are you being serious?
There's no way.
Maybe there's a joke. There's a joke inside the bag.
We invited food reviewers to try the Whopper, but with a special surprise.
$5 for 2 Whopper sandwiches.
I'm going to leave before you change your mind.
It's Christmas time. Celebrate with a 2 for $5 mix and match deal. Your way, way better.
Get your 2 for $5 Whopper deal at Burger King on Lyons Avenue at the 5 Freeway in Newhall.
Dreaming of becoming the next Steph Curry or Klay Thompson, or maybe just you want your kid to look good and have fun on the court? Introducing the Shotmaster. The Shotmaster is a revolutionary basketball training aid that isolates the shooting pocket, allows you to develop that consistent shot. Shotmaster will improve your shooting efficiency, accuracy, and shooting percentages dramatically. It's the ultimate training device. There's nothing like it. Visit shotmaster.net and discover for yourself how Shotmaster will become your game changer. Shotmaster.net.
I listen to it all day, every day.
Hometown, your hometown station.
Welcome back to the Edge Radio Show, coming to you live from KHTS Studios in downtown Newhall, California. Today we have on the line, obviously, as always, we got Coach Ron. Coach Ron, how are you?
We got to be more interesting.
Yeah,
we have to be more interesting.
I'm sorry.
I've got some
I
stuff
try.
There. Okay, I've got some. I'm going to be more interesting.
Okay.
We have our captain with us, Captain Paul Grossgold, who ran the Navy base at Port Hueneme, and Captain. Scott's a big rank. I don't know if you realize that. He's not a corporal or sergeant. He's a captain of the Navy. Big rank.
Right.
Like a bird colonel in the Army. Okay, so trivia question for the three of you. Captain, stay with us now. What the stripes represent the original 13 colonies. Even Patty knows that, right?
Yes.
How many states in the United States, Patty? Do you know?
50, of course. Come on.
That a boy. Good job there. Now,
yes.
How many colors are there on the flag, Patty?
3: red, white, and blue.
And what do they represent? What does red represent?
Okay, you got me on that. It's
Scott?
Scotty?
Red, the blood that has been shed.
The three colors represent, are you ready for this?
Yeah.
they're symbolic as well because they represent, red symbolizes hardness.
Hardness.
And valor. Okay, did you get that?
I do.
I do. Write it down.
I am.
White symbolizes purity and innocence.
Purity,
and that's the white.
Right.
And blue represents diligence. Am I pronouncing that right?
Diligence?
I spent most of my high school career in the VP's office because I was throwing spitwads at Mrs. Brackmeyer. So
that's why you didn't get into flight school.
You know what? I was in the United States Navy. I have an honorable discharge. I was in special captain knows this. I was a drummer, and I reported to a captain. I was a captain's servant in the Navy. Picked up. Never mind. Okay, so the blue represents perseverance and justice. So this flag has a lot of meaning to me personally, not only because I served our country, but it represents everybody that's come before us, Scott, and Captain knows this.
Right.
And it's time we start to honor it. That's why We Stand on Facebook is a new group. If you're listening to our voice, sign up for it. It's free. Although we should start charging, Captain. I don't know.
So
495 sign. I think people would pay to sign up. Anyway,
well, as long as it goes to veterans and first responders, I'm all for it.
Right.
So how do you become a captain in the United States Navy without going to Annapolis? Talk about leadership for a second, because you're obviously well-spoken. You're not like General Patton. You're soft-spoken. What is your leadership style? How did you lead men? That would be something to share with our large audience around 33 states here in the United States. We're not in Virginia or wherever you're located, but we are west of where are we? West of Oklahoma, I think.
Well, I guess we're west of Minneapolis.
That's right, Minneapolis.
Well, Annapolis. There was a time where most of the Navy leadership came out of Annapolis, but that's kind of that isn't the case anymore. We have very senior flag officers, admirals, who did not graduate Annapolis. They went to ROTC units, or they went other routes. So it's not it's certainly Annapolis and the other military academies provide an amazing education. They are some of the best institutions in the country, and I would any young person who's thinking about it would do well to go to one of those universities. But it's not. You can go. There are other routes to commissions in the armed forces. As to
is Oregon one of those? Can you go to Oregon and do well?
I believe Oregon probably has an ROTC unit. I would have to look that up, but it's easy to find out. You just go online and Google ROTC if you're in Naval ROTC, Air Force, whatever service you're interested in. It's easy enough to find out. As far as leadership style, I always felt that, I was, of course I can make decisions myself and I can issue orders, but I think it's most effective when you can be collaborative and get people as a group to come to the right decision. And because then they have ownership in that decision. It's not like, okay, the boss is telling me what to do. But if we can, have a discussion, everybody lay their cards on the table, and then when there's a decision to be made, you make the decision and march off. But so that was always my style. But it's situational. There are always times when the captain's got to issue orders, and that's what happened.
Right.
But when it's appropriate, you try to build a leadership. You try to build a team, and that's about collaboration.
So you would bring your junior officers into your beautiful office there in Port Hueneme, where I went on the base, and you would listen. You would ask a question about solving a problem on the base, and then you would get their input, and then you would make a decision based on their input, or was 99% of the decision yours, and you would give them 1% listening audience? How would you do that?
No, I think if you do that, then they stop participating. I mean, if you ask them for their opinion and their opinion is never honored, then pretty soon they'll stop talking. Yeah, and you never want your people to stop talking. When they stop talking, you have a problem. Right. So you want your people talking to you.
Right.
Now, you listening, Scott, to what the captain's saying?
No,
you run a big you run a big outfit there. Right. We can't tell people what you run, but you've got a lot of people reporting to you. So listen to what the captain's saying.
Yeah, no, I actually agree with that style. That tends to be more my style in the sense that, I mean, there's certain things at certain times when, the heat's on and you have to make a decision, and you make those decisions. But I do that. I spend a lot of time with listening to what people have to say, how we're listen to their point of view, listen to things that they've developed or things that could be additive to the business or make us better. And so I try my darndest to listen to those things and implement them. And like you said, like Captain said, the ownership that they feel, it really, you can tell, you can see the difference and tell the difference when people feel ownership and to what's happening in the business or with your clientele. So I like that.
Well said. We're listening to the, hopefully you're listening to the Edge Radio Show on award-winning KHTS. So I had the captain on I was on 3 hours a day for 10 years, as you know, in Ventura on KKZZ and KVTA. Scott, and I had captain on a few times. We also played golf over there at Las Posas. He's a pretty good golfer, the captain. He surprised me. I think the first time we both went out and played, I think he beat me. I think he shot in 78 or 79. I was beyond impressed the first time he came out there. So,
that's awesome.
This guy's an athlete.
I think you might have me confused with somebody else, but that's beside.
I don't think so. Don't be humble now. Don't start this humble stuff.
So, hey, I have a question for Captain. I'm just curious if you participated in the Desert Storm.
No, I was. During Desert Storm, I was in Washington D.C. and it's hard to escape. There's no escape velocity out of Washington once you're there. Once they got you.
Right.
So I spent Desert Storm as a Beltway warrior.
Okay.
But I did after that. In the years when we were doing no-fly zones in Iraq and. There was some combat operations in Kosovo and the Adriatic.
Right.
I was able to participate in some of those things, and so it's humbling when you can be on the front lines of American policy like that.
Right.
And then when you're in Washington, you kind of see the back end of that, which is some of the decisions that are getting made and those sorts of things.
That's like seeing the sausage get made, right? The minutia and all the backdoor deals and things of that nature.
But Scott, Captain has a Facebook page called We Stand, which represents patriotism, and the symbol is the American flag, which has stood as a symbol of freedom and justice now for well over 225 years through wars and times of peace. It sounds like I'm reading something, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Like I'm reading something?
Is that right from the website? So, hey, I've got a question for you.
From Google.
Oh, okay.
It's from Google. Where did you go to school? You ever heard of Cliff Notes?
Absolutely. That's how you get through school, especially as an athlete. That's how. You don't go on the road 4 days a week during the.
Captain Scott was an All-American at Utah State. He's almost 6'8". He's so tall. I have to look up to him. Wow. Yeah.
So I just a quick question.
He can jump. We had a NBA player on last year, and he played against Scott tried to get in the NBA, but he was shocked at how Scott could jump as high as all the other players.
Well, that was because we went to a camp down in San Diego at Point Loma back then, which was where they brought kind of your top 100 guys and recruits and play, and they had a slam dunk contest, and I was this little skinny 165 pound 6'5" guy, and I won the contest, and no one could believe it. They're just like, who is this guy? It was
then
pretty
you grew,
funny.
and then you grew.
And then I grew up.
Slam dunking is not on my resume.
I have a quick question for you, and that is that,
Sure.
I know, I sense why you started this website, and when you see what's happening...
Facebook, not website.
Excuse me, on Facebook, the Facebook...
We Stand.
We Stand on Facebook. And when you see the things that are happening around the country and see the flag being burned and stomped on and things of that nature, and I know that the Supreme Court's ruled under the First Amendment, right, that's free speech. And so, that's why I know people like you fight so that we have those rights. And, but how does that make you feel?
Yeah, it's very hard to watch, and it's even hard to watch the kneeling, and even I take some of those people at their word. They're doing it in peaceful protest,
right?
But I don't think they truly understand how it's received. That there are people who, as you talked about earlier, who served under that flag, fought for it, bled for it, lost limbs for it, and had family members who died for it.
Right.
How does that make them feel? We just changed the name of the Washington Redskins because it was offensive, and I get that to some people. But this is almost the same kind of thing. Is everybody needs to understand that it may be intended as a respectful protest, but I don't take it that way.
Right.
And I know a lot of people don't take it that way. And maybe there's a better way for them to protest than doing it that way.
Well,
see, I tend to agree with that. I feel that,
respect.
Yeah, respect. And I see the respect that I feel is there's so many people, so many men and women have been buried under that flag. And that folded flag has been handed to many a widow or widower or a family member. And, my father, my grandfather were buried under that flag. And in the sense that, they got those honors because of having served in combat. And they were the lucky ones to come home. But so when I see that, I'm trying to understand it, and I'm trying to be tolerant and all of those things.
The question is what do we do about it?
Right.
I mean, I think we all agree with each other here, and probably most of your listeners. But what do we do about it? Right. That's the tough one.
Right.
And I think if I can, pull the string a little bit on what you were talking about history before. Is we no longer, in a sense, have a sense of history in this country, and part of that is I think we sort of underappreciate what we have here, what we've built here, and we are the most successful, the wealthiest country that has ever existed on Earth, and certainly our adversaries would like that not to be true, but it seems like our own people in some cases are trying to destroy what's been built.
Right.
And, you think about, in the news this week, you saw what's going on in Lebanon. These poor people have been living for decades in this kind of a situation. When you look at Syria, an entire generation of kids is being brought up with knowing nothing but civil war, death, starvation, and all of that. So if that's 10 on the misery index, what do we have here? A 3, if that much?
Right.
I mean, think about the comparison. So how do we get our people to appreciate we certainly don't want them to experience what is being experienced in those places.
No.
So how do we get them to appreciate it? I think one of the issues we have is education. Is we need to teach it in the schools, and frankly, we're not teaching it.
We're not teaching it, and it's been changed, and they're teaching something that's completely different, and now they're trying to push a fiction history, that 1619 or 19, whatever it's called, program. We've got to take a quick break. Captain, we'd like you to come back with us for the next 10 minutes if you can when we're done, and we'll finish up. So this is the Edge Radio Show, 98.1 FM. We'll be right back.
Stone Oven, the healthy alternative. You've never tasted a sandwich like this before. Gourmet bread cooked before your eyes. Stone Oven at the food court at Valencia Town Center.
Save at the best Santa Clarita restaurants. Restaurant Row, where everything is half price. Click on hometownstation.com and discover incredible savings. Online or at our radio station, everyone saves with Restaurant Row. Check it out at hometownstation.com. Restaurant Row, where everything is half price.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you could move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep sleep faster, and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry my pillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. And here's my best offer ever. You can buy one of my pillows and get one absolutely free.
Go to mypillow.com and use the promo code KHTS, or call 800-973-3927 and use the promo code KHTS. That's 800-973-3927 or mypillow.com and use the promo code KHTS. These days, it's hard to figure out how to fill all the self-isolation time, let alone figure out what to have for lunch or dinner. Salt Creek Grill owner Greg Amsler is helping us out in a big, big way. Salt Creek is now offering takeout and curbside pickup, so you don't even have to get out of your car. Their entire menu is available for pickup or delivery, including to-go beer and wine. Hey. In addition, Greg's offering wine at 25% off, along with daily specials. If you'd like to buy a gift card for a future visit, now's the time. Buy a $50 gift card and get $10 extra on the card completely free. Buy a $100 gift card, you get an extra $25. Salt Creek Grill, located next to Regal Cinema at the Valencia Mall. For more info, go to saltcreekgrill.com.
We all know sometimes people lose their way. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, the Way Out Recovery SCV may have the answers you've been waiting for. The Way Out is the premier intensive outpatient treatment center serving Santa Clarita. Asking for help is the first step. Call The Way Out today, 661-296-4444. That's 296-4444 for a private free assessment. The Way Out is an accredited, affordable outpatient program that accepts most insurance. Call us at 661-296-4444 or check us out online at thewayoutrrecoveryscv.com. Quit battling with yourself. Ask The Way Out for help today.
It's like no other station I've ever listened to. It's great.
Your hometown station.
Welcome back to the Edge Radio Show, coming to you live from the KHTS studios, 98.1 FM, 1220 AM. If you don't have the KHTS app, please go to the App Store, put in KHTS, and download the app, the hometown station. It's great to have on your phone wherever you are. You can listen to the Edge Radio Show or get the news or find out what's going on in Southern California. And we want to welcome back Coach Ron and Captain Paul, who is was a Navy captain and currently on Facebook has a site, or I guess a group called We Stand.
It's a group site called We Stand.
We Stand.
Before we went to break, let me just say this. We've got to have Paul back in a month or two, maybe before the election. But all three of us are about the same age. I knew Captain when he was a young man. Now he's getting my age. But, we all grew up saluting the flag of the United States of America. We started every school day with our hand over our heart. Teachers were patriots. They talked about patriotism. Right. They talked about history. Just what the captain said a few minutes ago. Young people don't understand about the history of this country or about the flag or what it represents. Let me tell you what, if that flag ever goes down, people aren't going to like it. They're not going to like it. They're not going to like what's going to happen.
No.
And there needs to be respect put back into our school system. Let me just finish my little rant here. So it was taken out because there was a Supreme Court decision that started in 1943, West Virginia versus Barnett. It ruled that requirements of all pupils salute the flag was unconstitutional. Then it was revisited a few years later, and it was also struck down because people have the right of free speech not to put their hand over their heart or salute the flag. I get all that. Intellectually, okay, I get it. But we need to start honoring this country and its flag. So that's all I'm going to say.
When I was in elementary school, so this would have been I left sixth grade. 1971 is when I left when I graduated from sixth grade. But up until that time, from the time I was in fourth grade, fourth, fifth, and sixth grade, I was in the Bugle Corps, which every morning we had to be there early. We played the Bugle Corps where you'd raise the flag and then take it down at the end of school. And then after the Bugle Corps, we recited the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody in the class, we did it as a whole school on the speaker system, and then that went away. When I went to junior high and to high school, and it's sad. Yeah, I think it's sad because that taught me such great respect. And then obviously having had a father who was not really around much of my life after about 8 or 9 years old, but just in the beginning days taught me so much about honoring the flag and honoring those that had died for this country, along with my grandfather and uncles. And so I wish we could reinstill that. And education, as Captain Paul said, is the most important part of this.
Captain, why do you think that we don't get in front of school boards? Why do we think that people of our generation aren't outraged? That part I don't understand. So that's a question I have for you. And we'll have you back in a couple of months before the election to talk about patriotism. But why do you think we're not in front of school boards?
Coach, we got about 45 seconds. So, John, or Paul, what do you think?
Yeah, that's a tough question. But I think we're basically our generation. It's in our DNA. We don't even think we have to encourage people to do it, because you do it just like you said. It's in our nature to do it.
Right.
We have to really understand what's going on, and I think part of it is we don't appreciate what we have here, and we don't teach history. And instead of tearing down history, we need to be teaching it, warts and all. We're not perfect, but we are pursuing a more perfect union, as our Constitution says in the opening line.
That's true. Well, we've got to run. Thank you for being with us, and we'll hope you come back for the second hour. This is the Edge Radio Show coming to you live from KHTS.
You heard about Assistance League Retail Store? For a good time and a great deal and bargains that are an amazing steal, there are friendly volunteers ready to share a smile. So come on in and stay a while. We take donations on gently used goods, and proceeds from our sales stay in the neighborhood. So for a great buy and a special find, come visit our store anytime. Assistance League Resale Store, located at 24369 Main Street in downtown Newhall.
Consumers Furniture is back open for your business. The safety of our community and our staff, above all, is most important to us. We will provide a safe and clean environment for you to find the perfect piece of furniture for your home. To help you with your purchase, we are offering 25% off your entire order or 24 months same as cash financing. And for our awesome essential workers, we will deliver locally your furniture free of charge. Consumers Furniture is located in the Centerpoint Shopping Center below Sam's Club and Walmart.
Dreaming of becoming the next Steph Curry or Klay Thompson, or maybe just you want your kid to look good and have fun on the court? Introducing the Shot Master. The Shot Master is a revolutionary basketball training aid that isolates the shooting pocket, allows you to develop that consistent shot. Shot Master will improve your shooting efficiency, accuracy, and shooting percentages dramatically. It's the ultimate training device. There's nothing like it. Visit shotmaster.net and discover for yourself how Shot Master will become your game changer. Shotmaster.net.
Marston's Restaurant has been a Pasadena landmark, voted the best breakfast in California by the Food Network magazine. Discover Marston's Santa Clarita location, open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Marston's also has a fantastic catering menu that adds a delicious twist to any event. And they cater picnic dinners for that memorable romantic date. Experience Marston's on Newhall Ranch Road and McBean, or log on to marstonsrestaurant.com.
With the safe disposal of waste from our homes in the Santa Clarita Valley, Chiquita Canyon Landfill is able to create enough green energy to power 10,000 homes each year. So you can feel good that the waste from your home in the SCV is helping create a clean energy source and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Chiquita Canyon Landfill is our partner in sustainable living.
Chiquita Canyon is helping lead the way to a greener future.
KHTS
AM 1220
and 98.1 FM Santa Clarita. It's 12 o'clock. Time for national news on KHTS.
Rooting for the rebound. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. President Trump highlighting signs of an economy bouncing back.
Industrial production rose for the third straight month. It's a big thing.
And he's blaming Democrats for holding up aid to families and small businesses. Congress is now gone until September after talks on a relief package stalled. A stalemate Democrats blame on Senate Republicans. One of the issues, Postal Service funding. The Washington Post now reporting the service is warning 46 states and D.C. some mailed election ballots might not arrive in time to be counted. A U.S. attorney's ongoing investigation into the origins of the Russia probe leads to at least one criminal case. A former FBI lawyer set to admit altering a key document used to justify surveillance.
Kevin Kleinsmith, an attorney who worked with FBI agents on some of the surveillance warrants against former Trump campaign foreign policy advisor Carter Page, is expected to plead guilty to a single count of a false statement. Kleinsmith's lawyer saying in a statement, Kevin deeply regrets having altered the email. It was never his intent to mislead the court or his colleagues, as he believed the information he relayed was accurate.
Fox's John Decker in Washington. A gun-related ban in California is ruled unconstitutional by a federal appeals court.
One of the Ninth Circuit justices who wrote for the three-judge panel's majority said he understands the state law banning magazines that hold more than 10 rounds was passed in the wake of heart-wrenching mass shootings. But he wrote that's not enough to justify such a sweeping ban. The state has had a ban on high-capacity magazine sales for months, pending a Ninth Circuit ruling. 2A supporters call this a huge victory. California voters passed Prop 63 4 years ago, banning magazines that hold more than 10 rounds. But the Ninth Circuit said Friday this law strikes at the core of the right to armed self-defense.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. America is listening to Fox News.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So, what do you provide? Cookie-cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie-cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
3 women under arrest in Louisiana over the social distancing-related assault on a waitress.
Police in Baton Rouge say 3 women are charged with battering a 17-year-old girl who works at a hostess At a local Chili's, the young lady asked the women to sit separately as the restaurant has a strict social distancing policy due to coronavirus, but her request agitated the women diners so much they allegedly attacked the girl, beating her and even hitting her with one of those caution wet floor signs. The teen was left bleeding and needed to go to the hospital. Eben Brown, Fox News.
There's a tangible sign of a mass exodus from some major U.S. cities amid a combination of job and crime concerns.
I'm at the Brandon Transfer and Storage Company in West Palm Beach. This warehouse has never really seen ever in their 100-year history this level of stuff, people's household stuff being shipped from Connecticut, North Jersey, New York, Chicago, 180,000 pounds being held at this facility of just sofas and beds and rakes and exercise machines, you name it, of people really wanting to move down here. In fact, at Brandon Transfer and Storage, they are up 50% year to year in terms of their business, and it's not slowing down.
Fox's Brian Yennis. In the New York City area, realtors have also reported strong demand in surrounding suburbs. One report finds contracts on Manhattan apartments plunging 80% compared to July of last year. Sales at stores and restaurants rising for a third straight month in July, restoring retail sales to pre-pandemic plunge levels as stores reopened. But some economists expect a slowdown as a recent COVID surge prompts new shutdowns in parts of the country and after extra unemployment benefits expired. An hour to the close on Wall Street, the Dow's been higher, the NASDAQ lower. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Santa Clarita, bedbugs are taking over our city. They've invaded our homes, our businesses, and most importantly, our sleep. If you have suspicious bites that appear nightly or have a bug that you need ID'd, your best option is to make one call to All Pro. We offer a 100% guarantee that your bedbug issues will be solved with heat in one treatment. No need to tent or spray your house with chemicals. Heat is all you need. Call 661-298-2200 or text me a bug picture to 661-645-0540. It's time to sleep tight again, SCV.
La Esmeralda is home to truly authentic Mexican food. This family-owned restaurant prides itself on its fresh-to-order menu. Even the tortillas are made in-house. If you have a taste for sizzling fajitas, flautas, or menudo, you have to try La Esmeralda's Mexican and Seafood Restaurant. Dine in or order out for the most authentic Mexican food Santa Clarita has to offer. Their Taco Tuesdays, it'll turn you into a regular. La Esmeralda on Bouquet at Haskell.
The coronavirus has put us in a position of creating a new normal. Family Law at Home understands. Their goal is to meet you in the safest place possible, and these days that might be in your own home in a virtual meeting. Family Law at Home will provide you with immediate advice on your family law matters, such as divorce cases, child custody disputes, and domestic violence. It's as easy as going to FamilyLawAtHome.com. You'll choose your own consultation date and be in immediate contact with one of their esteemed attorneys. Family Law at Home handles the legal aspect while you and your family navigate the new chapter in your lives. Go to FamilyLawAtHome.com. Hey there, it's Tori with your hometown station weather. Another brutal day. We have several ahead of us. We are in an extreme heat warning heat wave with a high today of 107, tomorrow 109. This continues for the next week. Please be careful. Please stay hydrated. If you go outside, please make sure you have the sunscreen. Overnight lows, mid to upper 70s. Some nights won't dip below 80. For anything and everything Santa Clarita Valley related, go to hometownstation.com.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
The following is sponsored programming and does not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of KHTS or its ownership.
Welcome to the Edge Radio Show, coming back to you for the second hour with, this is Big Scott and Coach Ron. How are you, Coach Ron, in an undisclosed location?
Oh, baby, it's undisclosed today. I'm sitting in front of air conditioning unit. Ask Patty, is that Tori saying our weather is brutal?
Yeah, that was Tori saying our weather is brutal.
Yeah,
but
it is brutal.
I am inclined to believe her because I stepped out there for like 1 sec just to get something out of my car. Lord.
Yeah, you got it. If you're listening to our show, you really got to stay hydrated. Even though you're not thirsty now, drink plenty of water because it'll be too late if you get out there and get overheated.
Yep.
Our show, the last hour, I can't, you and I, when every show is done, we say, God, that hour was like 10 minutes. It was weird.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
It really was, because it felt like it almost felt like we hardly had any time to talk about what we were, the issues of
well, we were talking
patriotism.
about his Captain Paul's Facebook called We Stand. I signed up for it. I know you signed up for it. It's just what we're doing is trying to say to our fellow citizens, it's not such a bad idea to salute the flag and understand what the flag represents. Yes, just Paul's last comment. Yeah, we have warts.
Yes,
we have issues.
We do. Absolutely.
But the flag symbolizes everything good about our country, and more importantly, it honors every man and woman that gave everything.
Right.
They get everything for our country, and people don't realize there's probably 50 or 60,000 people from the Iraqi War that have been injured for the rest of their life that gave.
Right.
I don't want to get started.
No, but it's true, and I know that people have legitimate reasons to protest things that have happened in our country, that are happening now. But I don't know why we have to go after that most sacred thing, one of those sacred things.
I don't want to. We're going to talk about sports. We're going to have fun this. We're going to have fun this hour. We're going to talk about my sports. My son's coming on.
He's on.
My son and I used to do. Oh, hey, Johnny.
Yeah, he's on, Coach.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good. How are you?
John Tunick, Scott. Meet my son, John Tunick.
I know John.
Was an all-county football player at Thousand Oaks High School. Was a great baseball player, but when he went to high school, I got a call one night from Bob Richards, his football coach. Actually, no, it was from his baseball coach. And he says, Mr. Tunick, your son's going to have to make the decision between baseball and football. He can't play both. Because he was really a true story.
Yeah, no,
terrible. Anyway, wound up choosing football, but he could have been a Los Angeles Dodger. But anyway, now he's a football coach, a baseball coach up at Grants Pass High School in Grants Pass, Oregon. We're going to talk about sports this hour, Scott Harries. Now, John, you haven't met Scott, but he's 6'7". He was an All-American at Utah State. And,
actually, we did meet. Sports. Didn't we? John, didn't you come down and do a show one time?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, last summer.
Last summer, yeah. So we did actually meet, but so he knows that you're.
Can't remember what I had for.
Well, he knows that you're building me up to something I'm not, but I am tall.
Okay, so no, that's not true. In my mind, you're an All-American. Okay, so let's talk about sports. So this week, for me personally, has been one of the saddest weeks of my life because the Pac-12, the Big 12, the Big 10, whatever their name is.
Right.
No college football from two of my favorite conferences. My son up in Oregon, his football season's been canceled.
In high school. In high school, yeah.
So
is it canceled all year, or are they doing the California thing where they're going to try and do 2 seasons next year, starting in January?
They're going to do. They're going to push everything back until December, and then they're going to try to have all 3 seasons.
Oh.
And so they just basically swapped basketball and football, and so they'll start basketball in December around Christmas time, which is close to when they start. They usually start in November.
Right.
So they're going to basically be pushed back. They'll play a 10 to 12 week season. Then football will start in February. So
holy cow!
You're dreaming. It ain't gonna start. It ain't gonna start. You're just dreaming, son. You're just dreaming.
Yeah,
it ain't gonna start.
Gonna try to stay positive and hope for the best. So we'll see.
So what league is is it not Louisville? No, I'm thinking Louisville, but in Louisiana, the guys, the LSU.
SEC.
LSU. Is that the SEC?
SEC, yeah.
So the SEC, I heard Coach O from LSU on the radio the other day, and he said that they're going forward, and I heard the ACC was going forward. Is that still the case, or is that not? Do you know? Anybody?
Yeah, the SEC, the Big 12, and the ACC. I mean, there's still a few conferences that have decided that they're going to keep their players on campus. They have medical professionals. Those kids are tested 2 or 3 times a week. They're under a better umbrella, kind of like the NBA bubble, when they're on campus and they're surrounded by their coaches and their doctors, and these young men have received a scholarship, and it has a lot there's a value.
Yes, it does.
And it's more than just monetary. It's about the mental health of these young men, and there's a lot to be said for community and the camaraderie that is built there. So.
No, I would agree.
It's a tough one.
I've been thinking about this. I was trying to think what I would be doing, thinking back to my high school days and even just college playing ball, that if all of a sudden I was told we weren't going to have that season because of, these issues that we face today. And I think I'd be going crazy. As a player, because you kind of feel like you have a shelf life, right? An athlete feels like they got, there's a certain period of time that you're in your prime, you're entering your prime when you're in college, and some guys peak and they hit their prime in high school, some in college, some not till the pro game, but there's only so much time you can play. And I can tell you from having played ball, laid off for 2 years when I served a mission, and left, and then came back after 2 years, and the pain and suffering I went through to get back into playing shape. And even though I got back into, I felt like good playing shape and got bigger, stronger in all those ways, I still feel like I lost a step, from just having been out of the game. And I don't know if it was that, or maybe the competitiveness slipped a little bit or something, but it was just different. And so I know that's got to be a big concern for a lot of these athletes.
Well, and that's the dilemma, is that for some of them, and not all of them, the vast majority of these young men are hopefully going to graduate and then pursue their degree or pursue their life's work. But some of them, their life job is going to be athletics.
Yep.
And especially at those bigger schools, especially when you're talking about, the ACC and the SEC.
Right.
As these young men need to stay in shape, and these young men need to have the opportunity to pursue that next level. Joe Burrow, who was the LSU quarterback a year ago, he had just transferred to LSU, and he was a backup. So he had 1 year as a starting quarterback.
That's right.
If they had canceled Joe Burrow's season, he'd have been a second or third round draft pick, maybe.
Maybe he may not even have gotten in.
Maybe he'd be selling insurance for New York Life. What are you talking about?
Well, I think of the quarterback from Utah State, Love, right, who was signed by Jordan Love, was signed by the Packers.
Right.
He's
college football too.
Yeah,
program in Nevada.
Or
Utah State.
Utah State, and it's a pretty decent program. And they, that he went early, and luckily he did, because he was talking about staying, and had he stayed, he wouldn't be a multimillionaire today, because he signed an unbelievable contract.
John, why do you have to pick on Utah State? It's not a small program.
Okay.
Just one school.
But those are the obvious examples of Joe Burrow and Jordan Love. But there are many of these young men in all of the positions that are counting on their 1 year, their one big year, their senior year, whatever year it happens to be, so they can further their opportunity in whatever athletic. It's not just football. We're talking about volleyball players and baseball players,
basketball,
and all of these athletics. All of these scholarships, all of these athletes now didn't just lose one season, now they're going to lose two.
Right. The other thing that people aren't thinking about, too, and it's that, college sports overall is about an $18 billion economy when you look at everything that it does for all of the schools. And I was listening to a college president talk about what the impact would be if they ended up not having football, because football really funds everything else. And I'm on the board at Utah State, and I'm on their advisory board, and the amount of money that football generates to even help fund, basketball in a lot of these places, it generates a lot if you got good cable contracts and different things, but football funds most of the sports. And if you look at all of the other sports like, women's volleyball and soccer and softball and things like that, some of those things are going to end up going away because there just won't be enough money. And some of the scholarships are going to go away. That these kids have been promised.
Yeah, they have to.
They have to. I mean, there's just, and you can't really go. I mean, I already know from, looking at our budget and how much money we're not going to have, what kind of revenue is not coming into the school this year is enormous. And so it's either made up by larger donations from the alumni and the big sponsors and supporters of these schools. But that's an awful lot of money. You're not going to make up $18 billion. It's just not going to happen.
Well, you're a financial guy. You want to talk about the money. I want to talk about the loss, Scott and John. Our guest today, John Tunick, my son, who is a baseball and football coach up at Grants Pass High School in Oregon. The loss of teaching, of coaching, of discipline. A lot of these kids, Scott, you know this too. Yep. You and I grew up with no fathers.
Right.
Coaches become the father figure in so many of the lives of men and women. They become the trusted advisor, the mentor. All of this is going to be lost. And these are serious losses that have nothing to do with money. Right. Kids could go astray. John Tunick, talk about this, please.
Well, I mentioned it earlier that mental health and not only athletics, but these colleges are losing students because if they're offering online school, 100% online, the students are choosing to go to a junior college or to choose another option because the universities are not lowering their tuition. They're charging full price for, a subpar experience. And so not only are they losing the money from the athletics, but they're losing money from the tuition of students choosing to maybe join the Air Force or be a service member, go to basic training, or maybe I'm going to go back to my hometown and just get my degree through the junior college or the small university.
Right.
It's affecting in many different ways, and that's because they don't have the mentorship.
Right.
They don't have anybody telling them, here's what you need to do. Here's a good plan for your future. You need to stay here and take these classes or do whatever it is. And not only the coaching, but the counseling and all of those mental health services are gone.
Yeah, and I agree with what Coach is saying about the mentorship. Having that day-to-day contact, not only with your teammates and that camaraderie that you develop and the sense of brotherhood that happens on a team, but also from the coaches, whether it's the head coach or the assistant coaches or whoever takes an interest in you. Those guys are so important in your life to help you stay on the correct path, the path that you've worked very hard for many, many years. And what I fear, and I think it's what you're referring to, is if some of these guys get really discouraged and feel like this is not happening or it's unjust in the way that this is being administered, that they fall away and they lose their way, they get off the path, and it's going to change the outcome of their life for years to come.
Absolutely correct. Let me just say this. This is like paying full price at In-N-Out Burger and you don't get the buns. You just get the burger with no ingredients on it.
Right. It's
like that analogy?
And many of
I do.
Many of these young men and young women come from poor families. They come from one parent families or no parent families, and they don't have money to go back to. They don't, they didn't grow up in a wealthy environment, and so. These opportunities is what's going to give them a chance at a future.
It is. I came from that situation. Had I not received an athletic scholarship to play basketball, I'm not sure how I would have. I would have. I think I was being encouraged to go to school by my mother and others, and I probably would have found a way to do it. By working or doing other things, but the fact that I did get that jump start by getting a 4-year ride, all expenses paid, kind of, education from a place like Utah State was fantastic, and it launched my life in such a positive way. And if I had lost that opportunity, not only would I have lost the education and the opportunities that came from that, I never would have met my wife. There's a lot of things that change because of these things, and I wish people were.
Yeah, that's another good point. Yeah. My son met his beautiful wife, Andrea. I was there tucking him into, as he's a freshman, into the freshman dorm. Beautiful wife, who's also the cheerleader on the team, walks by both of us. We turn our head, and here he is, married 21 years.
Yeah.
Scott Harries.
That's right.
21 happy years.
Right.
So both of you are making great points.
Right.
When you look at sports, how do you put 200 people on an airplane? Scott, you fly a lot.
Right.
So how do you justify putting 200 people on an airplane, but yet you can't have a football or a sports team or a basketball team? As John said, you're safer, I think, with the medical staff and the trainers and all of that on a campus than walking around in society.
Yeah, I agree. I'm more at risk than those guys are when I flew to Minneapolis a couple of weeks ago, and then over to Utah, and then down to Vegas, and then you're wearing your mask and you're doing your distancing and all those things, but I got just as much or more of a chance, I think, of getting it by going to Vaughn's or somewhere and running into somebody that has been sick, versus being in the bubble that you would be at a university where you just have the coaches, trainers, and medical people and your fellow teammates. So I don't understand why. I know that there's the concern about filling the stadium with 50,000 people or 80,000 people. Well, play without it. Just the TV contracts are worth their weight in gold, for a lot of these universities. And then for high schools, just play. Play. Let the parents come. There's a lot of ways to do things, but to cut it all out, I just don't agree with it at all.
John's favorite school is not Oregon; it's UCLA, named his dog Bruin.
Hey, UCLA, fight! I'm with that.
That's Patty. There's Patty.
Patty, now you're a Bruin fan?
I am a Bruin, baby. Let's go.
Oh, my God.
Oh, boy.
So you're listening to KHTS. We're doing a sports hour here with my son, John Tunick, who's the coach, baseball, football up in Grants Pass, Oregon, and becoming a big retirement community, Scott. I don't know if you're aware of that, but they got the Rogue River. It's a beautiful, beautiful area where he lives.
Yeah, Grants Pass is beautiful.
Yeah, Grants Pass.
I've only been through there, I think, one or two times in my life, but up that coastline up there, and then along Oregon and then over Grants Pass is just unbelievable, really pretty.
And then he goes over. You go over to what beach? What's the beach that you go to all the time?
It's Brookings, Oregon.
Brookings. Now, what is that? 2 hours drive to the coast?
That's about an hour and a half.
That's not too bad.
That's not bad.
An hour and a half.
No, it's not too bad.
Yeah, takes me about an hour and a half to get over to the beach. No, I could probably get to the beach in an hour from Santa Clarita.
Yeah, you can't get home in an hour though.
No. Mick, it's going to be, I nicknamed my son Nick, Scott, when he was like 12 years old. He played in the Thousand Oaks Little League, Conejo Valley Little League.
Right.
And I'm standing out in center field with my fellow coach from Cal Lutheran Baseball, Al Schoenberger, and John hits a home run right over our head, and he had blonde hair at the time, and he's running the bases, and Coach Al looks over at me and he says, "Your kid looks like Mickey Mantle." And he got the nickname
Mick.
Yeah. His hair, he had blonde hair that's flowing out of the back of his hat. "Your kid looks just like Mickey Mantle." Anyway,
someone walked home. Someone walked home 5 feet higher off the ground that night, huh?
Oh yeah. I used to bribe him. I'd give him $20 for a home run, $10 for a double. He was under a lot of pressure.
Yeah,
that was his part-time job.
Well, we're going. Hey, Coach, we got to go to a quick break. So this is the Edge Radio Show. We'll come right back with Coach Ron and Coach John Tunick from Grants Pass. We'll see you in a minute.
There are times when nothing else will do because you know exactly what you want. You want the Alamo, the taste of true Mexican cooking at its best. At Alamo, you're treated to a taste that is truly Mexican with an atmosphere to match. Enjoy a Cadillac margarita, try a mucho burrito, or sizzling fajitas. Voted the best Mexican food in the SCV and a favorite of former supervisor Mike Antonovich. Alamo Rotisserie in Granary Square, serving Santa Clarita for over 30 years.
Fruit arranged like flowers? What a delicious idea! Edible Arrangements specializes in creating a variety of fresh fruit arrangements overflowing with fresh, hand-designed fruit and filled with strawberries, pineapple, grapes, cantaloupe, honeydew, and seasonal favorites. Made to order in a size you select and ready to eat and enjoy. You can even add chocolate to any arrangement. Edible Arrangements is always fresh, always appropriate, and always appreciated. Order yours today, 253-0052 or ediblearrangements.com. Edible Arrangements is on Soledad near Bouquet Canyon.
Santa Clarita's premier senior living community, Oakmont of Santa Clarita, is leasing, bringing comfort and luxury to assisted living. Seniors can enjoy 5-star amenities, panoramic views, easy access to the freeways, and nearby shopping centers in a world-class community that provides an advanced continuum of care. No other community has this kind of luxury and amenities in our valley. You'll find good health, vitality, and purpose at Oakmont of Santa Clarita. Stop by for a tour. Visit oakmontofsantaclarita.com.
At College of the Canyons, we are
an inclusive community,
a family,
a partner,
a leader,
a way forward,
an open door,
an affordable education,
an opportunity for a different tomorrow.
Fall classes begin in August.
The time is now.
The place is here.
Enroll now.
Canyons.edu/schedule.
I listen to it all day, every day.
Hometown, your hometown station.
All right, welcome back to the Edge Radio Show. This is Big Scott with Coach Ron and Coach John. How about that? We got Coach Ron, Coach John Tunick.
John for the listeners, we can't be very objective. I mean, we're three jocks. We think sports should go on no matter what, but we can't be objective. We admit that.
No, but
it's a disclaimer.
True.
We're disclaiming.
That's true. That's true. But I do believe there's many aspects to it. I think there's the psyche, the mental aspect of it. I mean, I know a lot of people who have never really been athletes, but they are just dyed-in-the-wool, sports fans, and they're dying.
I'm a creative guy. Can I present an idea for the two of you for football? So we have football season. Why don't we take the referees? Okay, the guys in the black stripes, white shirts. Why don't we recruit doctors and make those referees all doctors?
There you go.
So now you got doctors as referees. Is it that hard to referee a football game, Mick? Is it that hard?
Well, they don't do a very good job, so I don't know.
Well said. Well, yeah. So referees are crappy to begin with. Why don't we pull some doctors out of the hospital and put them on the field on Friday nights? That is a great idea.
Yeah, it certainly.
Huh?
Well. Are they going to be running around taking spit tests during the game, or are they?
Well, that's another good idea.
Yeah.
That's another. I didn't even think about that. But they, I texted you last night. Thanks for replying back to my text. There's this company called I can't remember the name. They're going to have test strips for COVID. That's a great idea.
You said something like Sherlock Biolabs or something, right?
Yeah.
No, I responded. You didn't see it, but I responded. You have to look at it.
No, but that is a great idea. I mean, they have the strips for pregnancy and other stuff. Why not strips for COVID? They're going to have them anyway.
Yeah, I think they will, and I think there's going to be.
So John,
I think there'll be some kind of a vaccine that's pretty far along by year end. That maybe can be administered in the first quarter next year, or at least there'll be.
God's ears. So let me ask my son a question, John Tunick. Thanks for coming to award-winning KHTS. It's not your first rodeo. You're on last year. You're our sports reporter up in Oregon. So how are the coaches handling this? Pull back the curtain a little bit. What goes on behind the scenes? What are they really saying, the coaches?
I think most of them, we've had a lot of interaction with the state, trying to get the state metrics, and then our governing body is the OSAA, California is the CIF. And so just going back and forth between them, I think, I would say the vast majority of the coaches feel like it can be done safely. The problem is the people that are making the decisions, they don't ever come to practice. They don't ever come into our weight room. They don't see what our locker room looks like. And if they were to see that and see how things are run, because school and sports is all about routine. It's all about, making sure people are accountable and following through. And again, even in a high school or a small college setting, the students are protected. They're safer there playing sports and going to school than they are in their homes or than they are in their hometown. And so the coaches are frustrated because they know it can be done safely. If we can control our locker room and our kids, it can be done safely. But unfortunately, the school board and the governor are not football coaches.
Yeah. You said something really important, which is routine, and routine. Is not only great for you physically, but mentally. That routine every day. It's just like I know a lot of people that are working from home, and Coach and I've talked about this. In the first part of the first 2-3 months of I was still going into the office, and then they've instituted some more restrictions and everything else. So I've been working from home, and being out of that routine, not having that drive, in the morning to kind of, get yourself geared up for the day. And I don't miss the commute home for sure. There's no doubt about it. I'm better off. But when there was no traffic and I could get home in 15 minutes, that routine was really important and is important. And now that I've been doing this for another couple months, doing it from home, I miss the routine, and that messes with you mentally.
It's even more important for young people.
Yes, it is. Yeah, much more. And it's the sense, like you just said, being accountable to your teammates, to your coach, and it flows all the way through their life, because they're not only accountable from the standpoint of doing their part on the team, but they also know I got to study so I don't get kicked off the team or put on probation. I can't party and drink and do drugs, because if I get busted, I'm off the team. I got to be a good citizen. I got to do this. I got to do that. So when those things are gone, and you got guys that are being tempted to go a different direction, it could, lead guys into trouble, just like you said.
Now both of you making great points, and our views, our opinions, and ideas do not reflect the owners of the station, or reflect probably most people who don't understand what both of you said about the culture of an athlete. Scott, your point is really well taken, and so is yours, John. And the administrators are they're a political body, and God forbid a student in high school or a college student should fall ill. Can you imagine the outcry from the community? So what you have, and I don't want to get into politics, we're talking about sports today on award-winning KHTS, where none of our opinions represent the owners or Pat Suika either. Right, Patty?
Yes, sir.
None of our opinions represent.
Well, you know what, Coach? Let's just get right. Let's cut to the brass tacks. The reason that this is happening, and I'm not being political here, but it is literally a liability issue and a legal issue, and all these people are afraid that someone gets sick and they're going to get sued, and that's it. And
You're right.
And no one wants to happen. So
here's where I'm having a nice day, and now you get me all angst up, Scott. I was doing very nice till you just brought that up.
Sorry.
But here's where the minority...
I'm riled up. In fact, I'm still waiting for your rant on Facebook, so I'm waiting for that because I want to see it.
It's coming.
Okay.
It may come today.
Man, mine's gonna bust out of here right now in this last part of the show, and then that might be my last show. But that's how I'm feeling right now.
But I'm giving a disclaimer that our ideas don't reflect the ownership of the station.
I know, but it's what I'm about to say.
That understand the athletics of culture, or Patty Suika, or his father, Bobby Suika. We're three jocks that are ticked off.
My wife is listening with my daughter and my grandson, so I've got to, tone it down, so I won't say what I want to say.
Eddie's a jock. Eddie's a jock.
Oh, yeah.
And my grandson. Here's another selfish thing that I have to say that doesn't represent the owners or the management or Patty Suika or his dad, Bobby Suika. My son, Jackson Tunick, is a prospective all-state athlete in 3 sports. Not one sport, 3 sports.
Right.
I'm not kidding you, Scott.
Right. So how does he feel about it? He's got to be going nuts.
How does your son feel?
He's trying to stay positive. We're trying to help these kids along and keep the benefit of the doubt, and they need hope. And that was why when our state decided they're going to keep all the sports, that was huge for our kids, because just the hope that they have an opportunity was huge. If they had been told, hey, you guys are done, no matter what, I mean, it's just devastating to these kids.
Right.
And so, he's struggling with it, but, we can still be active. We can still, work out, which we have been doing. It's just there's no competition.
Coach, let's look at it another way. You and I, if we wanted to, we could, get done with the show today. We could go over to the country club. We could have a sandwich, even though we might be sitting 6 feet apart, and then we could go golf. And there's going to be about 400 guys over there golfing today. Well, not today because it's 110, but, normally there would be. So what's the difference? Golf courses are open. Walmarts are open. There's all of these different places that are non-essential, but I would call school essential. Isn't school essential?
Both of you are touching on good points. What is the value of hope, Scott and John? I'm listening to both of you. I'm getting all angst up here. What is the value of hope? What is the value of competition? All these things are put, they're not respected like they used to be. That's all I'm going to say.
Right.
And it's frustrating. I understand intellectually just what you said, the liability issue. I get all that. But my son is making a good point. It's safer under the supervision of these caring coaches and the school environment.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's hope becomes, there's a lot of sayings about hope, but like it's if you have not faith or hope, you can do nothing, right? So hope
right.
becomes.
John, what is your John Tunick? Do you have a great quote? Both Scott and my favorite quote. What do you have like a favorite coach's quote that you pull out of your pocket?
Tough times never last, but tough people do.
Say that again.
Tough times never last, but tough people do.
Oh, tough times.
I love that one.
That's a great one.
Now, do you pull that out in the fourth quarter when you're down by a touchdown? You guys really did a lot of good comebacks last year. So you pull the guys aside, and that's what you say?
Well, we also talk about the toughest trees are at the top of the mountain.
Right.
They get the hardest weather, the worst weather.
Worst weather.
That's right.
They get the worst weather.
That's what they're missing out on is that piece of camaraderie and community. And for UCLA and for USC, losing their football season really doesn't affect LA too much. I mean, they've got a lot of other things going on. It's a big city, and those larger markets aren't affected. But when you talk about small college towns, especially like the one we have here, Eugene, Oregon, where the Ducks play their home games at Austin Stadium, that community and other communities around the country that thrive on their college sports and their community and their school, the communities are suffering. So it goes harder than you think.
Just think if you're in Green Bay. What's there to do in Green Bay if you don't have football? Why would you live in Green Bay? I'm just saying.
Hey, come on! I have an uncle that lives in Green Bay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But to be fair, it's a whole lot of nothing out there anyway.
Right.
He tells me all the time.
It's a lot of cold, Minnesota colds. But yeah, it's a tough time. But we're gonna have to, I guess this is also like you're saying said, tough times, don't last.
Tough times never last. Tough people do.
Right. So the tough guys are going to have to get through this tough time.
Can you hear my fight song?
No, I can't hear it.
No, I don't hear anything either. Put it up to the mic. Or put it up to your phone.
Can't hear it.
Can't hear it?
No.
Sorry about that. Well.
Oh, I'm hearing something.
It's a whole lot of nothing.
Now it was like and it's gone.
Sorry.
And it's gone.
That's when football season turned out.
A whole lot of nothing.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Why you gotta hurt? Why you gotta hurt us like that?
Hold on, see if you can hear this. Hold on.
Okay.
No, we got nothing on that one, Coach.
Everybody's in the studio.
Well,
that's all right.
Okay.
That's all right.
Well, okay,
so John, where are we going? We're gonna take a break here in about a minute, and then we'll come back and finish up John,
some last thoughts
are you
here.
at school or at Dutch Brothers? Where are you right now?
Well, I'm heading up to Portland, Oregon.
No kidding.
Heading up to Portland, Oregon. So I might lose service here when we get up to the mountain. So if I lose service, you know why.
Why are you going to Portland? Tell our audience why are you going to Portland.
I want to talk to the governor. I'm going to talk to Kate Brown, the governor, and see if I can talk some sense into her.
There you go.
There you go.
Go get him, Mr. John. Go get him.
Hey, I'd go with you. There's a lot of governors I'd like to talk to right now.
I tell you, we ought to run my son for president. He's a great natural leader, and he could turn this country around.
Well, let's do it. Because
I'm going to start one state at a time.
There you go.
Right. Okay, start with the governor. So are you saying goodbye to us? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thanks
for you. I love you. I love you more than Scott loves you.
But we love
you. Guys be well and keep up the good fight.
Okay.
Okay.
Hang in there. Thank you.
Drive safe.
All right. Well, that was nice.
Just want to see the governor.
That was nice.
See the governor I think her name is Kate Brown.
Right. So he's going to go up and have a powwow, huh?
Yeah.
Good
he's
deal.
Go have a powwow.
Well, I hope.
And I just want to say again, none of our ideas or stupid comments reflect the ownership or the management.
It's all ours.
Or Patty Sweeka or his dad Sweeka.
Right. It's just you and I, Coach. Just
all right.
You and I. A couple old guys.
Maybe our our last show.
It could be, but it'll be a doozy. So we're going to take a break. This is the Edge Radio Show with Coach Ron and Big Scott. We'll be right back.
The best live theater can be found right here in the Santa Clarita Valley. The Canyon Theater Guild has been entertaining audiences for decades with top quality musicals and plays. Located on Main Street in Old Town Newhall, CTG also offers workshops for the young actor in your family. For more information, call the box office at 799-2702 or go online to canyontheater.org.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you could move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep sleep faster, and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry my pillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. And here's my best offer ever. You can buy one of my pillows and get one absolutely free.
Go to mypillow.com and use the promo code KHTS, or call 800-973-3927 and use the promo code KHTS. That's 800-973-3927 or mypillow.com and use the promo code KHTS.
Once heart attack symptoms begin, delaying treatment increases the risk of heart damage, disability, and even death. Time is critical. Leading the Valley with the most advanced digital technology and treatment times that beat national best practice goals, Providence offers emergency coronary angioplasty and stenting, performed by highly trained board-certified cardiologists. For more information, call 1-888-HEALING. The road to healing leads to Providence.
Hi, I'm Eric Goldhurst, Head of Operations for Burger King North America. Throughout this time, we've taken steps to take care of our guests.
And since we know many of your jobs have been affected by this crisis,
we want to help make sure you're taken care of too.
If you are looking for work, we are hiring.
And there's a spot on our team for you.
We know that we'll get through this together, as long as we keep taking care of each other.
For more information, call 253-3283. That's 253-3283.
Dreaming of becoming the next Steph Curry or Klay Thompson, or maybe just you want your kid to look good and have fun on the court? Introducing the Shotmaster. The Shotmaster is a revolutionary basketball training aid that isolates the shooting pocket, allows you to develop that consistent shot. Shotmaster will improve your shooting efficiency, accuracy, and shooting percentages dramatically. It's the ultimate training device. There's nothing like it. Visit shotmaster.net and discover for yourself how Shotmaster will become your game changer. Shotmaster.net.
It's like no other station I've ever listened to. It's great.
Your hometown station.
Scott, can you hear me? Scott,
welcome back. Yes, I can, Coach.
We can hear you loud and clear, Coach.
Loud and clear. Hey, I just got to say thank you. Hey, Lady Gaga, thank you before you go. Thank you.
And she's out the door.
She's out the door. Onto that Legacy 650 to fly home.
For Shotmaster, that's a good commercial. But
I know. In fact,
the guy that does the commercial too.
That voice, you know, as it was going along, we were all saying, all of a sudden we go, "Hey, there's Coach," and then we go, training device.
For Shotmaster, but
training device.
Lakers,
training device.
The Lakers. Somebody needs to call the Lakers and get Shotmaster.
No, they're doing it. Our buddy,
they need to do a little extra practice on that going.
You know our buddy that we
Mike Penberthy.
Yeah, Mike, the shooting coach. He uses the
Big Mike.
Shotmaster. Yeah.
Well, they can't make 3-point shots. Does the Shotmaster help you make?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if they were using it for that.
I'm sure they are for the playoffs. They're going to use that.
Yeah,
I guarantee.
They'll get back in gear. They've got to do it.
Yeah, I hope so. So, anyway, back to our show. It's called this is our last show. Cause
it's called The Edge.
Somebody off.
It's called We're Over the Edge radio show. We went over the edge.
Look, we didn't say anything. We might have picked a couple of doctors off, but I thought I had a good idea where a high school football game, the referees are the doctors. I mean, the referees don't do much anyway. They irritate everybody.
Yeah, they irritate
why not
the heck out of you. I bet you we could get 7 doctors that love to put on the referee's uniform and be out there and checking the kids during the game. Well, you know what?
Taking temperatures. As they come into the line, all the guys have a thermometer in their mouth. Right?
Hey, be careful. You know, they got those things. Well, you can't do that with their helmet on, the forehead thing, so I don't know.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Never mind. You can't do I know what you're thinking, and I agree, but we're...
We're not going there.
Okay. But we can do it basketball.
Hey, Lisa, this is your husband, okay?
This
is your husband, Lisa. Is Harvey listening?
Calvin's listening. Calvin, I know, is listening with Vanessa and with Lisa. They were listening earlier.
How old's Calvin now?
Calvin is little more than 2, and the guy can swing a golf club and putt like you wouldn't believe. I'm not kidding.
I'm curious what Calvin's vocabulary. What words does Calvin have? Can he say "dada," "mama"? What can he say?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he says grandpa and grandma and he says I want to go golf. Golf.
Does he say?
He wants to golf.
He calls you grandpa.
He calls me Bampa.
Calvin.
Aw.
Bampa.
Now when he's golfing, does he say 4?
Yeah. No, he's funny.
What's he call you?
Bampa. Like Bampa.
Bampa.
Okay. Aww.
Something like that.
I like that.
Yeah.
Bampa.
Yeah. It's just Bampa.
No. We got to get Calvin on the air one of these days.
He's great.
What his opinion?
Yeah. We could get Teddy and Felicity.
On the school administrators.
Yeah.
I was going to go down that road. I didn't do it. I was going to say things about school administrators. I didn't do it.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing we don't. But
yeah, we don't go
well,
down
it's just the whole. I think everybody is starting to. This whole thing is just starting to wear on everybody. To the point, I think everybody's tried to have a stiff upper lip and be positive and all of those things. But I think that now going on, we're in 5 months, going on, 6 months, and the outlook is that we're going to lose the whole year in all these different aspects, and I also think that the pressures on a lot of these. We've talked about this before. A lot of these small businesses are going to, they're going to close up for good, and especially a lot of these retail businesses.
Let's stay positive. Positive.
But I'm just worried about it.
Next week we're having a big executive from Google who wrote a book. Steve Kerrigan's on.
Okay.
This is a big gift for us.
Yeah.
A big gift for us. This is a big time executive at Google wrote a book on how to survive COVID-19. How do you like that?
Oh, there you go. That'll be good.
Yeah,
that'll be.
He's on at noon next week.
Okay.
If we're still here, he's on at noon. Yeah. No, but I'll say this: the owners love America and they love the American flag.
That's right.
Jerry Cerati Goldman and Carl Gold, they love this country.
Right. Well, this country is.
This
country is the greatest country that God ever allowed to form. And so many great things have happened from this country. And despite our warts and our, the things that we have done wrong and the things that have happened that have not been just and fair in many respects, despite all of that, the good outweighs the bad. And we are forever, we're a country that, grateful for our start and our history. And we are constantly changing. That's the one thing about America. We don't stop. We continue to change and evolve and improve on those things that are not good. And I think that's.
And we don't give up. Our people, our citizens, we don't give up. We're ready. We're ready to take this fight and get this COVID-19 past us. I'm telling you.
That's right. Well, Coach, it's been fun to talk with you today. Next week, hopefully, we'll be in the studio.
Hopefully, we'll be back on the air. Hopefully,
so.
Hopefully, I'll be in the studio.
So, look, everybody out there, stay cool, hydrate, don't get too hot, stay away from the forest fires, and we will see you next week. This is the Edge Radio Show. Big Scott, Coach Ron saying goodbye and have a great weekend.